Good evening, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor. Sunday coaching series continues. Yes, this is post the event, shadow event. Long but very effective, very productive. Love all around. I mean, I could sit here and talk about the event, the whole coaching this evening, which I'm not going to do, but I am going to talk a little bit about it because it was definitely a great turnout. And it was so because of the attendees, because of the questions, because of the interaction, and because I know they're going to venture into their own success. These investors here definitely, it is our first 2 day. That was one of the first things right away. So it's like, a lot of people want to create the success and they want the success. They want to better their life, their future. And they immediately start talking about how can I invest in this, invest in that, invest. I love questions because it's phenomenal. That's how you learn and you get educated. But a lot of people learn something and let it be in the states. Nothing works unless you do. And when you start implementing some of these things that you're learning, only then can you see the differences. These guys that were here, I mean, I think the majority of the class signed up for coaching immediately right after. So that's huge. That shows me immediately that they're willing to take initiative. But up until this weekend, the shadow event, which is now it's a 2 day event where you get to come out and shadow me for a weekend and learn how to invest in mobile homes from step to step in a classroom, because that's what day number one was. Step by step, how to get leads, how to make offers, how to find contractors, handymans, how to talk to them, how to hold them accountable, the closings, the due diligence, every step of the above. We had 5 speakers and a guest speaker that came around. I did ask a question which kind of surprised me a little bit. Starting out 7 years ago, I knew little to nothing when it comes to investing. And when I finally got into mobile homes, one of the first books or individuals that I run into as to searching, how to invest in mobile homes was Mr. Lonnie Scruggs, who's passed away a few years back already. But at the event, we had an individual who actually helped Lonnie Scruggs write a couple of his books. So, those are the things that we're steady adding value to, bringing people who can add that much more to it. Gave us some wonderful stories, of course, and some tips, some nuggets, and without a doubt mentioned that, him having to do it over again, it'd be mobile homes, no doubt. So, mobile homes have made him very wealthy. It's made some connections that he has very wealthy. Knows a few millionaires out of that come from mobile homes. So look, all in all, as if you're persistent, if you do something, follow it, it's going to happen. It's up to you to make it happen. This weekend, we deliver so much education to all these people, this crew, that I know they will take it on and do themselves. 7 years ago, I started. I wish I would have had a third of the information I had that these guys now have. So, but again, we all start somewhere. We keep going, and it's always trying to add value. And that's what the shadow event was this time around. Is we added the most valuable possible. How can we set up everybody here for the best of their success? So that's what we're really going to look into. And I can't wait. I cannot wait to see some of these stories that come out from here, and just see where they venture to. Every state, different states, some people flew in. A lot of people came out of Florida, and then there were some few that made excuses. And then you have those. We had one of my speakers that came in was actually my first mentor, who drove through the whole hurricane issue to get up here because he was committed, as he stated. Commitment means I will be there. I will make it whatever I said was happening. But we had a few people who were an hour and a half away from the location and said it's a bit too far. Look, we can do so many things for you, but we cannot show it for you. That's up to you. So all in all, stay tuned to our social media, Garcia.mhu.com. We're going to be uploading a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, a lot of clips we got. Like I said, the interaction was phenomenal. These classes are that much better when they're interactional, because when you start asking questions, don't forget, there is somebody beside you, behind you, in front of you that may not even know there was a question as such. So when you ask a question, you're not just getting an answer for you, but a lot of people will have those, oh, okay, that makes sense kind of thing. And that's what we're triggering a lot. When we went from day 1 to day 2, the purpose behind that was that we could teach you every step in a classroom, which I talk about. I can learn behind a book, a screen, a computer, but when you show me, things just click. We had that going all day long throughout the day. It just, that makes sense. Okay, that checks out. That's what you meant by that. And that's how you're hitting those points that these people, these investors know what you're talking about. It makes sense, right? Let's simplify, as my coach mentioned would say. So that's what we did. But let's jump into the call. A few announcements at the end, of course. And somebody asked, are you sure after a long day today you're going to be on the coaching this evening? Commitments. Absolutely. This does not stop because the day is long. We keep going and rolling. Let's keep it going, right? So tonight's coaching, what we have is actually investing virtually. Some of these guys are from states where I would say they may not want to invest in those states just yet. On your first investment, I always say, try to get it as closest to you as possible. And the reason behind that is because if you have to drive to it every day, you want to make sure that it is possible, right? Now, if you can't, that's fine, but you have to have the right team, the right boots on the ground. Some of these states that I'm mentioning, and nothing against them, but the markets are just not the same, would be California, for instance, and New York. If you're out of California, the numbers are just not in an affordable state. Okay. You're not going to be able to get into one of these mobile homes like we do here for 3 grand, 5 grand, 7 grand, all in for under 10,000. That's not going to happen. Okay. It would be just a smoking some crazy deal somewhere that something like that would happen. So what I've had over the years is a lot of investors that take our coaching, take our mentorship, and they end up investing in Georgia, Alabama, even into Mississippi or Florida, South Carolina, any of these states out here from California. Some of these investors never took the time to come out here. You don't need to. If you have the right team on the ground, if you have the right boots on the ground, you don't need to travel. But it is a good learning experience getting started. When you're getting started, you want to be there hands-on, side by side as much as you can, because that's how you learn. Somebody asked the question earlier at the shadow. I think it's the individual I'm actually pointing at, Mr. Benz. He said, when you're walking by this mobile home, because I made a comment, that's the 70s, that's the 80s, you get better at everything you do over and over. It just happens that way. And that's why you want to spend so much time in the community, driving through, just getting some of these numbers, paying attention to these years, these makes, these models. Because when you are out there, the quicker you can identify the above, the quicker you can put a list of rehab, how much the contractor is going to have to do, you will be quicker at making an offer. I had this girl one time not far from me where we both went to see the mobile home. Same mobile home, and her response to me was more so in the area of I'm going to go home and think about it. I'm going to go home and I'm going to run some numbers. I'm going to put it together, put a spreadsheet, all this kind of fancy stuff, which is fine and all. Take your time. If you are going to make an offer, make a smart offer based on numbers. So definitely figure that out first. But here's the problem with that. If you're going home to think about it, review and study and procrastinate, and maybe you get to it and somebody else already made an offer. I made the offer the same day before I left. So by the time she came around talking about I'm ready to make an offer, that mobile home was gone. And that's what happens. When somebody knows what they're doing, what they're looking at, they're able to make an offer quicker because they understand things from a number standpoint. That's what we keep saying all weekend. Numbers, numbers. I don't care where the mobile home is at. I don't even care about the mobile home just yet. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'm looking to invest in a mobile home in Chicago, Illinois, example. I don't know Chicago, Illinois. I've been there for business, not for mobile homes. But I would immediately say, let's get the numbers up. Forget about the mobile home for a minute. Let's get the numbers up. What are the first number ARVs? What is the after repair value selling in those areas? Oh, they're going for 30,000. Bingo. Okay. So we know that an estimated comp, and we'll do a few, is around 30,000. All right. What are the lot rents? What are the rental rates? Get those two down as well. Where are we at on that? Get those. Awesome. Now we move into what is the cost of the home? Because remember, when you're talking about investing in mobile homes, everything, you're adding everything backwards, but you start from the final number. So if I'm at 30,000 resale ARV, then I don't want to be into more than a third all in. And that's our formula, a third all into the final number. So if all those numbers shake out, show me the mobile home. Now it's time. Show me the mobile home. I'm going to see some pictures, some videos. If I can review these and I can come up with a number that keeps me within that third, I'm interested in that mobile home. I don't care about anything else because the market now makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope it does. That's what you're focusing on. And you can do that in every state, every county. Try it in California, you see what I refer to. Okay, but that's that is one of them. You get the learning. And always, of course, there's always the need and demand of how many people are actually needing in those areas. We have testers that we throw out there and make sure that there's actually a demand, if you will. But investing virtually. So in order to invest virtually, you want to get all details up front. This is very similar as if you were doing it locally, but now you're one step away further. Boots on the ground can be family members. They can be friends if you can trust them. Okay. It can be other investors if you can trust them. It could be wholesalers if you can trust them. You notice I keep pointing that. And that is because, unfortunately, I like to say that it does not happen where another investor or another wholesaler or bird dog or whoever, they decide that they kind of ghost you somewhere in there and they take your deal. That's going to happen. So you want to make sure that if you're sending anybody out to review a potential investment of yours, that obviously you can trust that person, he or she, whoever it may be. Some of the best boots on the ground that I've had throughout the years is actually park managers. Don't forget the park managers live in the community. So why not offer them quotations at job? Hey, I'm looking to invest in your community, and I know that this unit down the street from your office there is actually available. Before I make an offer or decide to invest in it, do you mind if you can maybe check it out for me? I'd love to compensate you for your time. Bingo, there you go. But they like to hear numbers like that, right? You're going to better the community. How? Well, if I invest in it, I'm going to make it livable, presentable, no responsibility to you. I'll collect the law rent, tenant no issue. You can keep going and going. And these are all singing words to them. That's what they love to hear. And on top of that, look, I'll get you $100 if you can just go get a few pictures for me. Just review. You think $100 may make or break you if you don't have to travel states away to see something like that, and you can actually trust them. Because if that park manager wanted that home, it wouldn't be for sale. They would have already gotten it. You know, they're the ones that are there at the community, at the parks, and they always know. Everybody always knows. You know, everybody tells them first because they have to. That's one of the rule regulations. Anybody living in the community, if you're getting ready to sell your mobile home to somebody else, okay, you got to let us know. As some I've seen some rules and regulations stating 60 days, 2 months. So for 2 months, these managers are going to be well aware of what's being sold or going to be sold, right? If they wanted them, they would just come out off, I'll buy directly, which they can't, by the way. Park manager, and I'm not saying it doesn't get done, but for the most part, they don't, park owners don't like park managers buying homes and rehabbing themselves or investing in them. It's a conflict of interest there. So, connection there obviously works great, but they are the best source of boots on the ground. They are the same ones that I also use when it's time to, we did buy it. We're going to rehab it. We're going to get some material in there. Who is going to check on your contractors when they're out there? Remember, you're doing everything virtually. And I love pictures every day. You have to, okay? You must, that is a rule. You must check in with your contractors every day, every day. I don't care what the duties are. I simply ask every morning, every afternoon, maybe every morning and evening. Tell me what we're working on today. Tell me what kind of duties you completed. Send me some pictures at the end of the day, et cetera, et cetera. Contractors don't care to do the above or take pictures, then that's not a contractor for you. That's not an option. That's how we work. I had one investor one time. She ended up being a student towards the end, and she kept saying, I don't want to bother them. I know they're working. They sent me pictures yesterday. I really don't want to call them again. I feel like I'm aggravating them. If you are working for somebody in their position, turn the tables around. You think they would care if they're bothering you or if they're texting you too much or calling you too much? It doesn't matter. I will blow my contractor's phone if there are issues going on. If they send me some message like, oh, we're going to have to replace the entire floor in the background on the back bedroom. It's got some mold. It's got some issues. It's caving in. We're going live on video. I want to see what they're talking about. Zoom me. Okay. Some people say use Skype. Use Skype. It doesn't matter. Use whichever site. And I want to see exactly what they're talking about. Everything comes to hold. That is a big topic discussion that we had this weekend is contractor and handyman. Whether you're real estate or mobile homes, it is one of those very hard tasks that are very, holding accountable. That's one of those things. But contractors a lot of times don't like to show up. They use excuses, and anywhere they can kind of speed the process up and get away with it, unfortunately. Okay. And I'm not speaking for all of them that will do so. So it's why you want to stay on top of it. I don't ever friend my contractors. It's a business relationship. And if something goes down, something like that I just mentioned, mold or is caving in, they know you better come to a stop. Nothing is going to go on. Okay. Some investors say, well, he had an issue he ran with in the back of the bedroom. And then he said, I owed him an extra $500. He went and bought this material and I owed him that too. My contractors don't go out and buy anything without my approval. Nothing, because we're going to make sure that we figure out what the issue is first. All this is the same thing with the whole investing virtually. Investing virtually, you have to be that much more tight, that much more stern when it comes to contractors, boots on the ground, because they will take you for granted. And if they see that they can basically tell you what to do, it's going to consider into that. We had a investor who came to us, very unfortunate one time. This was in East Georgia. The investor bought the home unseen, sight unseen. She had a few pictures inside out and just kind of a little idea of very new to mobile home investing. And she decided to take that action. Let me go ahead and invest in this mobile home. Let me hire somebody locally, obviously, to come in and do the job, do the work. And let me get that, she heard good numbers. She basically ran with it, but she did not run with it in a smart way. There's a lot of things she missed in there. One, improper contractor interview. So fine, she buys the mobile home, she lets them in there, and these contractors, they immediately, as she said at first, very professional. Everything was a report, everything. Here's what we done, here's what we got, et cetera, et cetera. Send more money. That was the thing from them every day. send more money. So what happened was day number one, of course, she sees some of these changes and hey, we got to tear this out first. It has to happen. And she knows none of the above. So she's just kind of going with what they're saying. So fine, send X amount of money. Bam, she sends the money out there. All right, day number two, same thing. Oh, we took some sheetrock up. We put some sheetrock up. We had to tear some of the wall, et cetera, et cetera. And it's the end of the day too. So here's what it looks like. They were sending her pictures every day, pictures. And same thing happened for over a week. Pictures, we're almost done. And it was progressively getting better and better on the mobile home to the point where it was almost about 3/4 or I'd say about 85, 90% done. Then she said, finally, I decided, well, they're almost done. Let me go ahead and fly out there, check out what what my mobile home investing. I'm getting ready to put her on the market. So I like to walk at one time. Right about this time when she mentioned such, they stopped communicating with her. No more communication, no more answering the phone, text, nothing. They drop off earth is what I call it. So fine, she goes out there anyway. She's concerned about them, of course. And turns out when she does get there, the mobile home is there. But just like the original pictures that she originally had gotten, that's what the mobile home looked like. What had happened was with these guys is when they realized she's out of state or this, and that's not going to be around. She really trusts us. They took advantage of her. They took advantage of her. They were actually rehabbing another mobile home, who knows where. And they were sending her pictures of the mobile home they were rehabbing. So she was paying for this illusion of is getting done on something that was never hers. Things like that happen all the time. That is unfortunate, and it's part of if you're going to invest virtually, you have to know these things. I can keep going with stories on contractors, and I'm not talking wrong on them, but that's one of the hardest tasks. Real estate, mobile homes, one of the hardest tasks is not getting deals, selling deals. It is dealing with contractors, keeping them steady, keeping them working. Okay. But virtually, definitely is get all your details. I want the year, I want the make, I want the model. Is there a title? Yes, 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 all the above. Awesome. Let's do the proper due diligence on the above and let's see if it makes sense. If it all checks out, then it's go time every time. And remember, we don't have the luxury like real estate. There's no Zillow, there's no Trulia, MLS. I don't want it. I don't care because I don't want a proper, or I don't say proper. I don't want a typical real estate closings. Nothing against attorneys, realtors, brokers, but they delay a lot. And a lot of that is because they're very behind. Okay. I don't like to get involved with a sale or a close that's going to take 2 months to happen. We closed on a property a little over 2 acres and a double wide in Anderson, a month and a half from the day we put the paperwork on their desk. I don't understand what the issue. We've done all the due diligence. We've done half of it anyway. We could do the due diligence on the mobile home because we know that's the source. It was still considered personal property, meaning it still held titles. And we knew all that checks out, no liens, no taxes, everything up to par. Awesome. All they had to do was handle the land, a month and a half. Now, the problem with that many times is that you're saying, well, that's, they're behind us, how long it takes. What if it was the other way around? What if I was selling to somebody, okay, and it took that long? What happens with that something like that is the buyer then says, you know what, this doesn't seem serious. It's taking too long. I don't want to wait. Maybe they found something in a month and a half. You think a month and a half may be enough time for them to go find something else, maybe a little cheaper or something they like better. It happens. That's one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of, closing with attorneys. I love personal property and how quickly I can close them. 5 minutes, by the way. It's a few phone calls. I can call the city, the tax assessor's office, check for the liens, check for the taxes. If the title's there, I can check it directly, physically. There's a lien. I know that it's been signed off or not. Call the lien company, verify that as well. And if all checks out, it is time for them to sign the title over to me. Hand me the keys, I hand them the money, and we go on by our way. Personal property, same as car, boat, motorcycle. It is done that quickly, but do your due diligence. Okay. When you are investing in virtually, numbers, pay attention to the numbers, pay attention to everything checks out. The mobile home should be the last thing you're checking out, and always send a contractor. And when you do, send 2 or 3. I like to get multiple quotes as well. I don't send one contractor unless it's somebody I already hired and have for years. We have some contractors we do business with over and over. Some of these guys, I tell them nothing. I simply, hey, go check out this mobile home. They know what we have to do. They go in to make a list, and because we've worked over years. But if it's a new area, virtually, obviously, you're going to want to get the estimation from 2 or 3. And don't forget, some of these have to be handyman approvals, if you will, handyman approvals, and they have to understand mobile homes. If all they work on is real estate, condos, houses, thick built apartments, whatever, they're coming in with a different mentality. Because remember, mobile homes are affordability housing. So we're not going to do no luxuries of anything. We're making them livable and presentable. That's it. That was a big topic. We had a few real estate investors today, and you could tell their mindset, and nothing against it. I know they come from real estate, but they kept going back and forth. Yeah, but the countertop doesn't fit this well. The fridge opening is not that big. None of that matters. We are not delivering a poor product. It does not matter because it is affordability housing. We are making them livable and presentable. If it is not broken, don't fix it, if that makes sense. Okay. If the contractor does not know what that means, then they're probably not one for you either. And that's part of our interview we do. All right. Let's see. Any questions? I'm going to take a couple here. All right, let's see. So we got absolutely. Ashley, absolutely. Yes, ma'am. And then we got a couple questions. I'm going to get the Instagram as well. Give me 1 second. Number 4, best modes. Lonnie Scruggs, absolutely. He's a legend. He's a legend, no doubt. So Deals on Wheels, my app. Good stuff. Now that's not one. So Lonnie Scruggs actually has 3 books from what I'm told. I read the one you mentioned on Wheels on, that's, I think everybody investing reads that one. But a couple other books that he has is the ones that Mr. Stephen Case helped him write. So wanted to purchase a few in Warner Robins, definitely interested. Yeah, we have many mobile homes available in Warner Robins at this time. Central Georgia, Bonaire, Warner Robins, Centerville, great areas, phenomenal markets. That's where we were this week at Warner Robins. And those mobile homes that you see on our sheet is actually where we were. Do not forget on Tuesday at the 7 p.m. EST time is when we do the same top call and we're pitching deals then. You have a deal to pitch as well, bring it on there. Let's see what else. I'm trying to read through these quickly. Sorry, whose books? Lonnie Scruggs, TJ. Lonnie Scruggs. How many homes can we buy in Georgia before getting licensed? What is the licensing process? So it depends, Kim, on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to play something like a broker or a dealer, for instance, then I would say go ahead and get your license yesterday. If you're trying to come in and invest in some of these mobile homes like we do, we're going to come in, we're going to rehab them, put them on the market. I would say get you a few before you decide to get your license. There's perks to getting your license, no doubt. And if you're going to be flipping excessively, definitely get your license. Okay. Would you ever pay a contractor by the day or best quote in the job? Phenomenal question. And we went over that today. You want to keep a contractor busy, keep them showing up and steady going, pay them by the job. You want to make anybody, okay, I'll put that out there. You want to make any employee lazy, pay them salary or hourly. Whatever takes 5-10 minutes, suddenly it takes 3 hours. Why? Because they get paid hourly. I'm going to pay you salary a week. It's going to be 500, 700, whatever it is. Again, what it would have took them 3-4 days, suddenly it took them a week. So when you pay them by the job, when you go into the mobile home, remember, we look from top to bottom. The ceiling is ruined. Okay, that's one job. The walls need to be painted. That's another job. The floors need to be done. That's another job. You're adding all these jobs. And what I tell contractors is, all right, Mr. or Mrs. Contractor, you with us, you actually have the ability to get paid every day. Now, here's how it happens. You have to complete a task every day. We're going to review it with a video, pictures, or I come in and inspect them. And if it checks out, we pay you. So they go in and they fix the ceiling, give them a pay. They go in and paint the walls, give them a pay. They go in and fix the floors, give them a pay. You see what you're doing. Now, suddenly these guys are like, I want to be in a hurry, but I also want to be in a hurry to get this done correctly. Because then you start having some of these guys that like to get in this little speed. Oh, I can be paid again and again. And then they start giving you poor product. It depends on the jobs that they are. Some of these guys can get paid two, three times during the day. So it just depends. But, that definitely adds that on. Let me get this done correctly is what we get out of that. And they show up. Because one of the biggest things is they don't show up, period. And you just, any mobile home you hold on to without it being worked, without you selling it or renting it, it's costing you money, not making you money. So I don't want a contractor to get sick every other day. And I'm not saying they cannot get sick, but most contractors, when they say that, they're actually across the street or somewhere else doing some of the jobs. So it's how you keep them going, keep them busy. Okay. All right. So I do have one more coaching this evening, right before we shut down. We have quite a bit of things to plan out. I don't know. I know this call is recorded. It will be shared on all over social media, but this whole week I'm going to be swamping busy. Great stuff at Seco, SECCO. Okay. That's going to be in Stone Mountain. That's all week. It is Mobile Investors World. That's come network. So we're going to be doing a lot of things there. A lot of live videos are going to be coming up as well. A couple of announcements, by the way, mentioning on. Level ups will continue. Level up is once a month, either the third or the fourth week of the month. And that's where we go live. Something very, very small and similar to what we did at the Shadow. The shadows are Super Bowl. That's where we show you every step and we just let you have it. That's for you to take action. The level ups is a network. It's a meet. It's like a RIA, but we also coach one topic. You pick a specific topic. A lot of you can actually suggest, hey, y'all cover this topic if you can, and we'll cover that. So, stay tuned for when the next level up is going to be. It will be the end of October. We're thinking South Carolina, but I don't know yet. Don't quote me on that. TBD, right? Just stick with GarciaMHU.com, follow our social media, and we will advertise it on there. The next shadow, somebody already asked, when is the next shadow coming available? When is it happening? I want to sign up. That's going to take some time for us to put that together. It took a lot of efforts and I love it, but it takes a lot of time to do the above. We are thinking at this time, it's not going to be this year. This year, for the rest of the year, we got a lot of focus, a lot of growth. We're doing a lot of things that are happening. So it'll most likely probably sometime in January or February of 2023. But that is the perfect time to start investing. If you start investing in January, by February and March, when people in need of affordability housing get the income tax time, you will flip houses for cash, 20, 30,000 cash, because people have money. I would say February to about the end of May, maybe mid-May. That is when we sell the most cash sales, flips. Because again, people borrow from people, there's income tax time, and people have money to pay. Whereas now throughout the end of the year, still great phenomenal market, but a lot more people have a little less money now. Holidays around the corner, Christmas is coming, of course, so focus is kind of changing, but it does not mean they won't buy. Maybe at this time is when you get creative. Maybe do some rentals, rent to own, some notes, month to month, whatever you need to. Come new year, then you flip it. Okay, so many things to be coming, but stay tuned. Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST time, we'll have a few more announcements on the above, and that's when we go live for the Let's Do Deals Together. More deals to come. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining me this evening, and we will see you Tuesday.